Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhey with Suhey Plans, and this video is a take two of my 2025-26 Simplified Planner launch haul. I tried recording this video last month, but I had some problems with my tech and I had to bring it down. I'm finally getting a chance to redo it and post it. If you checked out the first go at this, thank you so much for sticking around and checking out this redo. I am sharing with you what I got in the haul, which is very, very limited. I've jumped into several of these planners. I want to talk about my thoughts on the new collection, some thoughts on the paper changes that were made to the new collection, and just generally talk about how I'm using them and my overall thoughts on these planners. I actually picked up 5 items: a pen, 3 planners, and a jumbo eraser that said grace, not perfection. I'll link that jumbo eraser and all of these items below. And quickly, I'll just state that I am not affiliated with any way with Simplified. I purchased all of these items with my own money, and I am not being compensated for this conversation. So I actually gave away the jumbo eraser as a graduation present to a very good friend. So I don't have that with me today, but you can check that out online if you're interested. So let's jump in, and we're going to start with maybe the most boring to the most exciting from everything that I picked up. I picked up a 2025 Dapper Desk, which is their daily planner in the black tie color. I picked up a 2025, and really quickly before I move on, this 2025 Dapper Desk Daily was on sale during this launch, the 25-26 launch. I also picked up the same product, but for 25-26 in the color Carolina Dot. This is again their daily Dapper Desk. I picked up the beautiful Cottage Floral weekly coiled planner. And again, this beautiful cottage floral print. The beautiful light pink lilac interior. This is their weekly planner. And last but not least, I loved this cottage floral print so much that I also picked up the pen in the matching print. So I was very intrigued with the Simplified covers this year. I didn't like the covers at the 24-25 launch as much, but I really liked what I saw with the cottage floral and the blue Carolina Dot. Really liked those, so I wanted to pick them up. To be very honest with you, a lot of this purchase was just for the pure aesthetics of it and just how gorgeous these planners are. And I really don't think that there's anything wrong with that. This cottage floral has this beautiful gold foiling. I love the pink and the hints of blue. That's really kind of like the color vibes that I really like for spring and summer. So I really wanted to pick that up, this up. I am thinking of using this planner for homeschooling homeschooling my kids this summer into next year in Spanish. I want them to learn the language, and I want to be more intentional about them learning. So I picked up this planner to do my homeschooling in. The layout has not changed at all from prior years. I'll zoom in a little bit, and I'm sorry about we have a cloudy day here, so it's a bit overcast. This layout hasn't changed at all from the last launch. We have a week on 2 pages, lines on the left-hand side, a dotted checklist on the right-hand side, and then your weekends are combined. and you get a monthly spread with a Sunday through Saturday view, and your weekly spreads are from Monday through Sunday. So this layout hasn't changed at all. I really, above all, wanted to get my hands on this gorgeous, gorgeous cover, but I do think I'll be putting it to use with my kids and homeschooling them in Spanish. So that is the Simplified weekly planner in the cottage floral. Let me zoom back out. All right, let's put cottage floral to the side. She's so beautiful. Kind of keep her there too. I will go next with the cottage floral ballpoint pen. I actually don't really even like ballpoint pens, so I've been changing out the refill. The only refill that I have found that works in this so far is a Lloydstrom 1917 gel pen refill. I haven't found any other refills that fit this pen. So if you know of any, folks, please drop them in the comments. But I think this pen is just gorgeous. I love the gold detail, that it matches that cottage floral cover. And I really picked it up because I loved how it looked with my personal rings cover. Let me zoom in a bit. I just think that that's such a gorgeous match with my pink cover. I needed this as a companion. Gorgeous. All right, so that's the cottage floral pen. Also from the 2025-26 launch, I picked up the Dapper Desk Daily in the Carolina Dot. It's this very beautiful light blue color with gold foiling dots all around, including on the spine. Very simple. And this is a daily planner, so you do get your monthly view. You get a Sunday through Saturday overview for each month, and then each month follows a page per day. Unlike the coiled version of their daily planner, the Dapper Desk has split weekends. So you get a page for each day of the weekend, while the spiral daily version, even though it's the same layout, the weekends do share a page. That doesn't quite work for my lifestyle, so this for me is something I can work with a lot better, because I really do need every day of the week for planning. I am doing things every day of the week. As a working parent, I just can't, I still have to task manage on my weekends as well. So that's the the inside of the Carolina Dot Dapper Desk is this gorgeous French blue color, which I really love, and it's really beautiful. My cottage floral planner came with this gorgeous card as well that I like to keep in here because it kind of complements that blue so well. But I just really loved this blue, the gold dot. And I am a daily planning girly, so I decided to pick this up as well. And it has like a deep, almost like, I don't know how to, like what kind of blue that would be categorized. But it kind of matches a little bit more. Like, look how gorgeous that color combination is with the blues. Really pretty. And I do appreciate this nice thick ribbon bookmark that does go to the corner of your page for easy flip, which I love. All right, so last but not least in the haul, I also picked up the 2025 Dapper Desk. So this has the same exact layout as the 25-26 Daily Dapper Desk, with the exception, of course, that this is dated only for the year 2025. You have that same ribbon. This is in like a beautiful cream, and this is in their black tie color. I've already jumped into this full force. I really wanted to try Dapper Desk before this planner starts. So the 25-26 collection planners don't start until August, and I really wanted to use Dapper before that. So I picked up the 2025, and luckily this particular book was also on sale. So this is my Simplified planner haul from the 2025-26 release. I was glad to pick this up on sale. and I've been jumping in and using this already. All right, so that's kind of the overview of what I've picked up. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the paper, because the paper did change for 25, 26. And I've had some time to kind of play around with the paper, explore the paper a little bit. And I will right away just go ahead and share with you folks that I, in my personal opinion, do not like the new paper. I think that paper is so relative. Please don't let this potentially change your mind about picking up any of these products. This is just my personal opinion and my personal preferences relating to paper. So I find that the paper, the 2025 planners, I believe still have the old paper, and the 25-26 planners have the new paper. I'm going to try my best to kind of show you the differences here. But I think immediately what I noticed about the old paper, which is on my left, and the new paper, which is on my right, is that the older paper is a little bit more yellowy and creamy in color, just ever so slightly. By no means would I call this a yellow paper, but there is like a warmer undertone compared to the new paper that I think has a little bit more of a cool tone. A little bit more gray. And again, this is not a gray paper. These are both white, but I just think that this paper has a cooler tone, and the new paper has a cooler tone, and the older paper has a warmer tone. Let me see if I can zoom in for folks. I think it's really, really hard for me to be able to show this on camera. It's kind of really, really hard to be able to tell that there are any differences in the paper color at all. So I apologize if I'm not able to quite pick that up on camera. But I do notice that there is a warmer color to the older paper, whereas the newer paper is cooler in tone. Another thing I'll say about the new paper is that I find, while this paper to be smooth, the new paper is not as smooth as the old paper. My fountain pens glide a lot more easily on the old paper than they do on the new paper. The new paper, I find that my fountain pens give me a little bit more feedback than with the older paper, which I find to be a lot smoother. The last difference, and probably something that I think would really be a deal breaker when we're talking about the old paper and the new, is that I do find that they have lived up to their promise about the shadowing with the new paper. The new paper definitely shadows less than the old paper. So, and I think that was like a concern that their customers had. And so they really try to work on that for the 2025-26 launch. And I really do believe that they accomplished that. I have used a lot of the same writing utensils on both of these pieces of paper. And you can really clearly see that there is just less shadowing with the new paper, which is on the right hand side here, than with the old paper. I can see a lot more things through the page than I can with the new paper. And I think that's one of the primary things that they were trying to deliver in the new paper, is just for you to be able to not see through your paper as much. And I really do think that that was accomplished. And the new paper really does do that. So bravo. I think if that was the goal, that was definitely achieved. But I think it came at the sacrifice of maybe the color of the paper, just slightly more cool in the new version, as well as some texture. I do find the new paper to just have a little bit more texture. It's not quite as smooth as the paper in the 2025 and prior. I was very bummed by that change personally, because I like using fountain pen in my Dapper Desk Daily, and I find that I don't have, so this is all fountain pen. I find that I don't have the same kind of smooth writing experience in the new paper as I do with the old paper. So that's really a bummer, but you know, I think above all, like the layout is there. That layout is so important to me. That's really what makes the planner functional, and that has stayed consistent into the 25-26 launch. So at least there is that. I'd love to kind of know if you are somebody who's using the new products and have some of the old products, what your thoughts are on the paper. Do you kind of see the color mismatch, the smoothness and the texture, and some of that show through that's not quite as there in the new paper? I'd love to hear from you guys if you can speak to the changes. One more thing I will add before we go is, gosh, my train of thought. Let me bring out the other Dapper Desk. So the changes to the paper, I think, are significant. And I do think that there is one more factor to consider when I was looking at these two planners. And when I compared the size of the 2025 to the 25-26, the 25-26 Dapper Desk is a lot, maybe not a lot. That word can be very subjective. The 25-26 Dapper Desk, which is this blue one here, is thicker than the 2025 Daily Dapper Desk. I'm not quite sure, like I couldn't tell you exactly why. I don't have any evidence to say as much. But my hypothesis is that the new paper, because there's less show through, maybe it's a little bit thicker, or just generally because it's a different paper, it also makes my Dapper Desk chunkier. I think some folks will love that. I think it's a little bit harder to see when we look at the spine, and it's a little bit more obvious when we look at it from this kind of angle. And if we put it side to side, you can really see that there too. I don't think that this is necessarily a deal breaker for folks, but this is already a pretty hefty planner. And so the fact that the new paper has also added some girth to your planner is something that you want to think about. Most people honestly are going to keep something like Dapper Desk at home. So that size difference might not really matter to them. But it is just one more thing to keep in mind as we talk about the changes in the simplified paper. I think if I'm not mistaken, you might be able to see as I zoom in there, some of the color differences that I was talking about. The older paper is a little bit more yellow in tone, just a warmer tone. The new paper is a little bit more of a gray, a cooler tone to the paper. Hopefully, I don't know. I feel like I can see it there, but let me know what you guys think. Can you see that color difference in the paper? It's ever so slight, but something to think about. So I guess as somebody who is a Tomoe River paper user, the shadowing never really bothered me in the first place. So I am bummed that I've lost that creamier, that warmer color tone and that smoother paper. But I know a lot of folks were kind of not so happy with that shadowing. So I think it's a win for some, but not for others. That doesn't change my mind about picking these up. I still think they're beautiful. I'm super excited about Dapper Desk and using it as a daily planner in my lineup. Let me know if you guys would like to see a dedicated video on how I'm using Dapper Desk. I think that would be cool to talk about. I feel like there are not enough videos out there about Dapper Desk. And so if you think that's something you'd like to check out, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer any other questions that folks might have. Just drop them in the comments. I'd love to chat. If you're a Simplified owner, what do you think about the new paper? I'd love to chat about this launch and kind of your thoughts on the changes. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit that likes and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.